Hello and thanks for joining us for KVUE News at 6. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Ashley Goodo in for Quita Culpepper. As the city's top executive, Spencer Cronk, directs daily operations, oversees a workforce of more than 14,000 people, and has to carry out the decisions made by the city council.
One of the biggest topics Austin continues to confront is policing. And that's where senior reporter Tony Plahetsky starts the conversation.
We've seen Prop A resoundingly defeated. So I want to talk about what your plans are for policing in the community in the months and even years to come.
Well, one thing that I know that both Chief Chacon and myself have been focused on, and this is regardless of how that election was going to play out, we need more officers on our streets. And so we were committed early on to getting the Cadet Academy up and running ahead of schedule. We had that start in June. Those cadets will be graduating early next year, and to do the appropriate reforms that are needed to continue classes going forward. And so we are laser focused on ensuring that we can graduate cadets out of the academy and that we see those classes moving forward in the years to come.
What's the timing on that? How long does the city need, in your estimation and in the chief's estimation, to get enough officers on the street?
Yeah, I would say, in the next year and a half, we should be able to graduate another 2 cadet academies, and so we should have enough to keep up with the response times that our community is expecting. So the second priority that I would identify is the morale of the department. It's so important that the chief has said keeping the morale and the officers supported is another one of his priorities, and he's done a tremendous job in ensuring that officers are hearing directly from him and hearing directly from leaders in our community saying that we need you to stay in our department and we need you to support and keep our community safe.
What specifically are your plans and the city's plans to ensure that the academy, the launching point for policing in our community, really looks the way the community wants it to?
I'd say 2 things. One is a recognition that it's important to keep the community engaged in that discussion, and so we've been proud of the fact that we're opening the door for community members to look at the curriculum itself, to look at the videos that we're using to train the officers, to get their feedback on how might that influence the officers as they exit the academy. How do you ensure that the officers themselves have enough context around policing in not just Austin, but in America? How do they get connected to community organizations during the course of the academy itself? So one is just getting the community to be engaged with the reform efforts around the curriculum development. The second is a recognition that this is a continuous improvement effort. We're never going to have a perfect academy. This is always something that we're going to be evolving and reforming and adapting based on the situation and based on the current dynamics. So this is a new effort that we're really putting a lot of time and attention to, but it hasn't changed the fact that the academy has been changed in the past and it will continue to change in the future.
I want to ask you, with regard to just overall police reform, how do you ensure that the city really stays focused on that, and the police department stays focused on that, and that those demands for change really don't get left behind or forgotten?
The selection of Chief Chacon really allowed us to say this is the leader who's going to take our department and continue to evolve and change and make sure that we are meeting the community's expectations and showing the values that our community needs to see from the department.
Can you commit, it sounds like the answer is yes, but can you commit to a level of accountability within yourself and within the department as well?
Absolutely, and I have given that commitment and support for not just the chief, but this is a citywide effort. It takes the community to be involved in that process, to have us think differently about how we perform not just law enforcement services, but other ways in which we can keep our community safe. We have seen how critical it is to engage with other departments within the city, our public health department, our Office of Violence Prevention, our EMS and fire departments, because they are all important in dealing with a reimagined response to our community. A great example is the addition of the option to have a mental health response to a 911 call. I mean, that's a significant change in when somebody calls 911, that they have that option to have that type of response as opposed to just sending an officer on their own. So I think things like that really require community investment, coordination across different departments within the city, and then the leadership and buy-in from the top of the department as well.
Now, in part two of our conversation with City Manager Spencer Cronk, we dive into another hot-button local issue, homelessness, and the city's ongoing efforts to find housing for those who don't have it. That's tomorrow at 6 on KVUE.